Y'all know that I love Infinity, but today we are talking about why I think Infinity Code 1 is actually a big mistake. Roll that intro. Welcome to Corner Case. You're in the hobby corner. I'm your host, your wargaming Statler and Waldorf, your best friend, Deck Waldorf. For those of you new players, Corvus Belli makes a entry-level or streamlined version of their Infinity game called Infinity Code 1. Infinity Code 1 is the same as the core game Infinity N4. However, the rules are more streamlined. I'll make it clear now that I'm not talking about if this game Code 1 is good or fun. For those of you who are enjoying it, I really want you guys to enjoy it. Like, more people in the hobby is better. So that's not my intent. What I'm really talking about today is I'm talking about Code 1 in regards to, is it a good decision for the brand, Corvus Belli? Is it a good decision for the product portfolio? Is it a good decision for the community? Those are the three things I'm going to talk about today. If you enjoy Code 1, please continue enjoying it, but we just want to encourage thoughtful discussion on this channel. When it comes to the strength of the brand, probably for me personally as a designer, the number one thing that I think is not right about Code 1 is that it's basically an admission by Corvus Belli that their core product is actually too complicated. Think about it. The guys at Corvus Belli said, we want to on-ramp new players into the game. When other game brands want to on-ramp new players, they just release a sick box set. Think about Games Workshop. Sorry, I have to say it, but in 40K, when they want to on-ramp new players, they do like a big box set. They don't change the rules at all. Maybe they'll release a new edition, but they're not going to change the rules so significantly or cut the rules in half to make it simpler. They just make a new box and they tell a story with the box. But Corvus Belli specifically made a product that they market as streamlined, which just tells me that either the product management or the exec level leadership at Corvus Belli is actually insecure that the core product is too complicated. What's wrong with that? Why does it matter that they're insecure about the product? In short, a brand has to posture confidence to today's consumers. Today's consumers are so savvy and they feel that slight insecurity. Any insecurity that Corvus Belli has in its own product absolutely trickles down to its consumer base. Let's think about Games Workshop again. I am so sorry how often this comes up. They just do marketing really well and they manage their brand really well. I will say that I think it's objectively true that Games Workshop neither has the best game nor makes the best models. I'm not saying they're bad, but they're good in specific ways. For example, the models I think are very specifically very good at being injection molded. They're optimized for that. And they're really good at taking a wash too. And they're very characterful. But they're by no means the absolute objective best models in the hobby. But Games Workshop time and time again will say every single time, we make the best models. We are a model company. We make the best models. And boy, do they release a ton of models. Yes, they make easy to build kits, but those are made in very limited quantities. The easy to build kits don't feel like they're competing with the mainline models for attention. Versus Infinity Code 1, I would argue that Infinity Code 1 feels like it's actually Corvus Belli's mainline strategy. When they're introducing new models into Infinity the game, they're putting them into Infinity Code 1 first. They strongly believe that Code 1 is the way to ramp into the game. But again, I feel like that's coming from a place of insecurity. Insecurity that the product N4, Infinity, the core line game, is too complicated. But is that actually true? Which is the second half of this argument. Is Infinity the game actually too complicated? So in a previous video, we shared the ARO flowchart. The ARO flowchart was really, really useful. It makes playing the game way, way fast. That to me just tells me, do we need a Code 1 product, or do we just need a better, well-communicated rule set from Corvus Belli for N4? Think about how Games Workshop, is able to communicate the rules for their game. Yeah, you just movement phase, psychic phase if you have it, you charge, you shoot, you charge if you can, you attack. That's it. That's all you need to play the game. My turn, then your turn. But can you do that with Infinity? Infinity, you can say, yeah, I take my turn, and then during my turn, you can ARO if you're within line of sight or within my zone of control. And what is an ARO? Okay, an ARO are these 5 options. So just even explaining the game to someone else in a succinct way isn't that easy. So part of that has to do with the rule set, but how much are you going to sacrifice the rule set itself for the marketing, for the ease of communication? I would say that I think Infinity is a completely fun game. It's very deep. Once you get into the swing of it, once you start to understand the core mechanics, oh my gosh, it's like extremely fun. I wouldn't want to simplify that for the sake of marketing it better. That's probably how they ended up with the Code 1. They were thinking along these lines, like it is is hard to ramp people up. But I think what they didn't consider was they just need to make better assets for communicating the core rules that they have. So that's all my issues with Code One from a brand standpoint. From a portfolio standpoint, it feels like Code One is not the main product. It feels like N4 is still the main product. So when you're buying Code One, it feels like you're buying the half version. Now you're still buying the same models, right? You're still getting the models that you can play in N4, so that works out really well for them. But just the fact that you are learning a separate system and the differences between the two aren't immediately clear, now you have these two products where it feels like Code One is this weird stepping stone or half version, and you ultimately have to step up to play the N4 full version. Maybe that's a marketing thing. Maybe they need to say that N4 is the expanded version, Code One is the new way to play the game, but they might upset consumers. It's causing all of these issues just by introducing this new product, which in my opinion isn't actually necessary. I think there should just be one confident version, Infinity, the good one. My last issue with Code One is that it splits the community in half. Infinity is already a small community as it is, so it cannot afford to split the community in half. It's not big enough to have two halves. Imagine this, and this shouldn't be hard because I assume if you're watching this video, you're in this position in one way or another. Imagine you are an established player and two people want to join your local group of Infinity players. Awesome, 2 players would be great. Groups aren't always that big, so 2 players would be awesome. But now that there is the Code One option, you ask yourself, or they ask you, is Code One the right option to get them into the game? But this asks all of these other questions once you introduce that. If you start with Code One, do you have to learn Code One so you can play with them? Are other people in the group willing to learn the extra tools, the extra rules of Code One? If other people in the group don't learn Code One, does that mean these 2 people can only play with each other and maybe you if you learn it? How long is this going to go for? How long are they going to be happy playing Code One? What if they can only get a game in like once every 2 weeks or once every month? So they could be in Code One for a long time only playing with each other. And if you are able to finally ramp them up from Code One into N4, how quickly does that happen? Which rules are you going to teach them first? Is there a clear on-ramp path from Code One to N4? If they finally play N4 and they decide they don't like it and they want to stay in Code One, well then now you definitely got like 1.5 communities. And these 2 people can only play with each other. So I think Code One actually presents a lot of usability issues on the user experience side for people just wanting to play the game. It's very confusing. I want to apologize to Corvus Belli because this is a pretty, I would say like pretty bad critique, but again, like I do it because I care. If you are enjoying Code One, please, I beg you to please continue enjoying it because this hobby is so awesome. The community is so awesome. And the more people we can have playing the game together, the better. Just in general, this is why I think Code One is a mistake from a brand, from a product portfolio, from the community and user experience side. I think it's a bad product. My recommendation is that as much as possible, we play N4 and we generate the tools that we need to make N4 a better on-ramp experience so that as much as possible, we're all playing the same game. If you guys have questions, comments, and I know you got the comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Join the Discord, join the Facebook. We're all about making the group smarter. We're all about making the group more educated on why things are happening the way they are within our hobby. Please like and subscribe. We're always desperate. All the YouTube things. Join the Discord. We love you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Venerate the Emperor by subscribing now. Only in death does subscribing end.